Resuming. Weird World Order broadcast. Dynaphones connected. Initiating broadcast signal in
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies, gentlemen, and knights of the Nerd World Order, this is the Nerd World Order broadcast. I am the man that you call Dukes, and to my right, it's all about the...
Booyah, what's up? It's your boy Joe, baby.
And to my other right, coming straight out of Krakoa, weighing in at 178 adamantium-filled pounds, Alfonso X-Man Flores. Gene! And to my other right, Danny DJ Quick, because I had to do it, y'all. Danny Quick. How's it going, Danny?
Hey, man, thank you for having me. Absolutely, man. I've been getting DJ Quick for a long time. Hey, absolutely, man. Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely. DJ Quick lives down the street from us. You know, we're here on the West Coast. Brother does a concert like every week, so it just popped in my head. Yeah. Thanks so much for being on the show today, Danny. Today we are going to be discussing Danny's 7th installment of the Aceblade series, and I'm just really excited to have Danny on today. So thank you very much for being on, Danny.
Thank you. I'm ready.
Absolutely. Okay, so obviously Nerd World Order, some of you are very familiar with Danny's work. Some of you are like, okay, I'm tired of hearing your voice, Dukes. Let Danny talk. Tell us a little bit about who he is. So, Danny, just start off by telling me a little bit about who you are, what you do.
Yeah. Thank you, Dukes. My name is Danny J. Quick. I'm the co-creator of Aceblade and King Supreme. Most of the Fourth Wall Universe comics. I've been making comics for about 10 years now, but it all started when I was in Iraq in 2008, 2009. You know, me and a friend of mine, we came up with this character Aceblade before I left, and while I was over there, you know, I just was writing in my free time. Any free time I had, you know, there's not much you can do while you're deployed. So you know, I was just writing stories and you know, trying to keep my mind straight. So when I came back, I ended up having like all these crazy, you know, superhero stories that I had written, and you know, it was just great. So you know, came back and learned how to make comic books, and here we are 10 years later with Aceblade, who was our kind of he's our kind of foundational character. He's our, you know, Captain America. He's our Spider-Man, who is, you know, all the rest of the characters branch off of, really. So, you know, right now we're working on the 7th issue. So I'm happy about it.
Nice. Very nice. So, you know, you're number one. Thank you very much for your service, man. Nothing but respect for that. You know, you're in Iraq, and to me, if you're thinking comic books, you're a big nerd, man. What makes you a nerd exactly?
I think it's the God, I don't want to say obsessiveness, but it's like the things that we love, man. The things that I love, I really love them. Like, and I take that ownership. I try not to be like abusive to other people who are in the fandom and stuff like that. But I'm like, yo, like Donatello, Ninja Turtles is my stuff. Like I love X-Men, like like Alfonso. You know, I love Dragon Ball Z. I love, you know, anime and stuff like that. But you know, it's really Ninja Turtles and superheroes for me. So it's just like those things, man. I'll take ownership of, and I'll keep me a little Pikachu because of Pokemon way back in middle school. You know, I got bullied and picked on for loving. Well, it probably wasn't that. It was probably because I wasn't brushing my teeth or washing my clothes. But I felt like, you know, I was weird, and I knew that Pokemon, you know, me bringing the Pokemon cards to school had something to do with it. But you know, I still keep those things around to this day, man. I'm 38 now, and I still love Pokemon. I still love Dragon Ball Z, and I still, you know, love those things. And now I'm creating things that I hope people in the next generation will love.
Awesome. That's so cool, man. I mean, for us, and I say us like I'm speaking for everybody, but I've known these guys for a while. The passion is what does it, because like Joe always tells me you should watch this anime, knowing I'm not going to, but he always tells me like you should watch this anime, or I grew up reading X-Men. Like for me, just the story of the X-Men, that passion is what I feel like a true nerd has, loving all aspects. It's not just anime, it's not just comic books or something like that. It's everything. So we are definitely of a kindred spirit there. So you
Absolutely.
talked about a lot of different, fandoms. Dragon Ball, comic books. What is your number one favorite fandom?
That's hard to say. I think right now more than anything it's indie comics. Like it's really like a subset of comic books, and most of the stuff that I'm buying these days are like new works that are coming out from other indie creators. I it used to be Batman and the Justice League. I used to, every movie, every TV show that came out, I was on it. But now it's really stuff like, Justice with Wingless Comics. We got Worlds Away over here, just like really niche, short form stories that you don't even know if they're going to get a second or third issue because they're so indie. But
Mm-hmm.
grabbing hold of these new fandoms is kind of my thing right now. But there's a lot of fandoms that I could talk about at length. Probably like if you talk about the Justice League, I can go on a debate rant with you if we get into Dragon Ball Z or Naruto, any of that stuff. So but right now it's mostly indie comics for me.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Before we jump over into specifically talking about Aceblade, because Joe was kind of enlightening me on the challenges that independent creators go through as far as funding, stuff like that, and how Kickstarter has really helped out so much, because previously it felt like all of it had to come out of your pocket or your pocket and a few friends, but now you're able to reach out to thousands of people simultaneously. What do you see is the biggest improvement as far as being able to be an independent comic book creator in, let's say, the past 10 years to really help you out?
For me, it's the connectivity that social media gives you, right? To me, it is okay. If there's an artist that I like, I can talk to them. I can reach out to them and see if they're available to do, an Ace Blade pinup or a sketch or something like that, or if I actually want to learn something from an artist or something. Most people have podcasts or they might have a YouTube series on how they do certain things, and you can really just learn anything. Leave your you don't have to go to the next state over and schedule a meeting to be, what I'm saying, like you don't you don't necessarily have to wait until summer to go to a comic-con to stand in line for 8 hours to reach Daryl Banks or somebody like that. You can, if you send him an email, he might actually get back to you, or if you tag him on social media, he might respond. So I think the biggest improvement has been that part of social media. It's not social media isn't always great for crowdfunding and stuff like that, because the algorithms are always going to try to suppress you when you're trying to make money. But I think the connectivity that it gives you is absolutely huge.
Yeah.
Jay Quick with it, because I'll give you my own nickname that I think is good for you. Do you find it hard to reach out to certain artists, and or if you want to do like a co-writer on a comic, do you find it hard to reach out to those? I mean, social media is easy to reach people, but you find depending on who the artist is, it's they don't they think you're either they're too good or you're too small for them to do anything with you. Do you ever find you come across that?
I have seen some of that, but mostly I think the folks but that doesn't bother me. If somebody is too, like I'm not that okay, I probably don't want to work with you anyway. If we get to the point where I'm literally trying to pay you to do something and you're like, oh, I'm not gonna Ace Blade, who is that? I'm not like I don't okay, cool. You do your thing, cool, whatever. But I think the frustrating part is when you want to connect with people and you can't, because there are so many different platforms. You never know. Like I'm always on my TikTok and Facebook. So if you get me on TikTok and Facebook, you might be able to you might actually be able to get me. But if you try to contact me on Twitter or Instagram or Snapchat or it might be 6 months. It might be 6 months before I even see it. So like I've been trying to get in contact with Jamal Campbell forever, and he's one of my favorite artists right now, and I can't figure out where he is to contact him, and I would love to get some art from him, and he seems like a cool dude, and I know he will be down for it. It's just getting in the right inbox at the right time, for people who aren't on social media as much.
Hey, since we're giving you nicknames, I'm gonna of course have to pull out an X-Men one, give you a Quicksilver.
Hey, I like it.
So Quicksilver, I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has been like one of the biggest indie explosions ever, and you said you yourself are a fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What other influences do you have in that light?
Oh man, I think so. Donatello has always been my favorite Ninja Turtle.
Nice.
Like from the time I was a kid. Like I think like his weapon was just the easiest to find. Like you can always find a broomstick or something, so I can go outside and be Donatello. Like I don't have to make nunchucks or like sharpen sticks to be swords or anything like that. I can just go pick up a broom and go play. And then of course Donatello's got the purple. But I don't know, man. I think it's just that the different dynamics of characters. Like you got these four teenagers that grew up together, but all of them are so different. And you got the pressures of being a leader, whereas one of them is carefree, and then the other one always feels like he's second, so he's got a inferiority complex. And then you got Donnie, who just wants to make cool stuff and be like, hey, look, I made this, let's find a way to use it. So I think it's just a cool story to to put different groups of people together. And but then when it comes down to it, when it's like, hey, all right, Shredder's out here, we got to go get them. They're all on one accord then. So I think that's one cool thing from Ninja Turtles that I try to put in my comics for sure.
Nice,
awesome. By the way, we always I guess Alfonso did it. He said which of us are which Ninja Turtle. So I'm Leonardo. I don't know. I guess maybe they think I'm too serious.
I gotta be Donnie. I got to.
Well, that works out because I was Michelangelo, and Joe, who are you again?
Of course, Raph.
We got the team.
We got the whole team.
Yeah. So we found our fourth Ninja Turtle.
Here we
nice.
go. Yeah, I love it.
Cool. So let's jump into Aceblade, because I want all of the members of the Nerd World Order to have the opportunity to understand Aceblade, get as excited about Aceblade as we are. So the forum is yours, Danny. Tell us about Aceblade.
Oh yeah, Aceblade. Aceblade is really it's hard. It's hard to talk about Aceblade because the themes of the stories are not what people see first when they read it. Okay, so you see this purple ninja guy who's got the swords, and he's this master fighter, and you see he's got these supervillains. But the story is actually about like fighting against greed in our society, right? So most of the villains, if when you start reading Aceblade, you'll see that instead of it being some kind of nuclear accident or something like that, they've gotten their powers because they were being greedy. Like they wanted more. They wanted more than their portion, and they fell into a situation where they got superpowers because of it, and now they're using their superpowers to hurt other people. So Aceblade is kind of fighting against all the facets of that, and how greed kind of corrupts each part of society, and that's so boring to talk about that I never do. Like I never even talk about that part of it. It's like, okay, this woman wants to steal, and she's got the power to disappear. So of course she's gonna be like our cat. She's our Catwoman type. Blackjack is our Catwoman type. And then you got Hammer Hands, who was taking steroids so that he can continue fighting, and lost his arm, so he had to get prosthetics put in so that he could beat up people even more. So now I try to approach it from those kind of angles. But for the Cream Saga, which is Aceblade 7 through 10, Aceblade 6 through 10, we're kind of exploring the outside of it. So we got the supervillains, but then we see Aceblade have to fight against like you see the police system, which has been corrupted by money. We see the press, which has been corrupted by money, politicians, the prisons, and then it comes to just the people in the communities who are corrupted by money in some kind of way. And it's hard to fight that kind of thing with your fist because, as a society, listen, you only one person. You feel like you can't really do anything, but when you got an inspirational figure like Aceblade, things can change.
Does Aceblade still take place in Vegas?
Yeah, yep. We call it Vegas City,
Okay.
in our comics, but it's the same place. It's the
Okay. Now, did you specifically pick a city that's sort of based on greed to be the backdrop?
Yes, absolutely. That's the city, Vegas City, is a character in the book for sure. It's it's a place where people go to hit it big. They might risk it all in order to. I know so my little brother lives out there now, and when me and my wife went to visit, we were like, hey, we want to go to the casinos and all this stuff, and then like. I don't know, like just some random person said it in passing. They were like, "Oh, you know how they build all this stuff, right? Because they take your money. Like you come in here and the gamble, most times you're gonna lose, right? So that when they say the house always wins, that's really the truth, So they're able to afford building these huge casinos and hotels and stuff because people gonna come down there hoping to hit it big. And when you do hit it big those couple of times, it always gets you to come back. So it's really it's really tempting.
I like the idea of that because I mean, it's a different kind of it's just you got a different kind of theme. Everybody always has like you said, they have their toxic waste or something to get their superpowers. It's a good way to do it. But other than that, I have a question. I see that CREAM is an acronym, and what does it stand for if it doesn't spoil anything?
It does. It stands for Cash Rules Everything Around Me. I know if we got any Wu-Tang fans, they would definitely get that. But that's the whole theme of this arc is Cash Rules Everything Around Me. And that's what Aceblade is fighting against. So when you got literally your next door neighbor who will sell you out for $100,000, somebody comes and offers them, hey, if you say this about your neighbor and I'll give you this money. Cash talks, man. It's hard to turn it down, for something that's not gonna hurt you. So that's kind of the theme of this whole series. But in this one, in 6 through 10, we see how it's affecting the people that Terrell. So Aceblade's secret identity is Terrell Durham, and he has this he has a gym, where he teaches young students to fight and protect themselves and things like that. So, he sees that one of his students is getting caught up in it, and that's why, he decides to kind of fight the systems that are opposing him.
I'm really disappointed Joe didn't say, "CREAM, get the money, dollar bills, y'all."
Dollar bills, y'all.
I'm just lighting up Alpha in the chat, dude. How do you not know what CREAM? I was thinking when you said CREAM, I was like, well, maybe he changed it and it says something else, right?
Right there. You're right.
I was like, if people don't know, bro, either there's something wrong with them, they don't know hip hop, or their parents didn't do it right and didn't teach them what hip hop is.
As the interviewer, sometimes we have to play the devil's advocate, ask questions for the listeners.
All right? Yeah, absolutely. No, but you'll be surprised how many people. I think it's hip hop in comics, crossover sometimes. Run DMC has a comic. There's a lot of times where they did this whole thing with the hip hop variant covers. I think it was Marvel who did it, mm-hmm. and sometimes a crossover, but you would be surprised. Like there's not a huge crossover of hip hop heads in comics. So I've been surprised by how many people didn't know what it meant. Just in talking about it. So you never know.
Yeah, you're correct, because every time we're at cons and they have hip hop and comic influences, it's really not packed. There ain't that many people in there.
Yeah.
So Danny, the creative process is not a one-man show. So can you tell me a little bit about the different individuals involved in the creative process to create your books?
Yes, absolutely. So book number 7, you see the artist right there, JC Grande. He actually did 5, 6, and 7. JC did. He drew Villain Season, Cream Part 1, and this is Cream Part 2. And then the colorer for the first two were Veronica Smith. She's an amazing colorist who mostly does work with Freestyle Comics. She was a little too busy. Well, I'm gonna say she was too busy. She wouldn't have been able to get this done in the time frame that we needed. So we decided to go with Jamal Walton as the colorist, and he actually lettered this book too. So you know, it's a collaborative process, man. And like I said, social media has made it so easy that you can dang on go contact anybody at any time. But I prefer I prefer people that I can like if I can drive to your house or we can meet up somewhere, because there's a lot of people who can't, um, especially in the indies, who can't hit deadlines and things like that. Most of the people who are like professional comic book artists, Marvel and DC and Image are snatching them up, and they don't have time for us little folks anymore. But it's great to be working with people who like JC and Veronica and Jamal who can hit those deadlines and who can deliver quality work.
Awesome. So, speaking of delivering deadlines, quality work, et cetera, as I alluded to before, one of the challenges that artists have had for years or creators have had is simply getting together the funding. So, where can or how can people find you on Kickstarter?
Yeah. So thankfully, we have had some hiccups in Kickstarter before, but thankfully we've been able to build a little community around Ace Blade and the Fourth Wall universe. And now if you go on Kickstarter and you just search for Ace Blade, the newest one will pop up. You can literally, go and pledge right now. We got Ace Blade number 7 on there until I want to say November the 15th, I believe, or November the 13th. And we're about at 75% right now. So we're hoping to be able to close this out this week or next week. And we appreciate all the support and all the help.
Yeah, I know you have some incredible merchandise, man. I remember when you brought out your shoes. I was like,
Yeah.
Danny got shoes now? I'm making t-shirt. This brother got shoes. What's up with that?
Hey man, hey, yeah. We try to do something different. I mean, really what it is we try to do something different with each campaign. Like this one was the Ace Blade statues. The first time we've been able to get the statues done for Ace Blade.
Hmm.
So we only made 10 of them available, and I want to say all 10 of them are gone at this point. But if not, it's probably 7 or 8 of them are gone. But just we just wanted to provide something different with each campaign to give people a reason to come back. And if you got all 6 of the Ace Blade comics, you're only going to pledge to get the one more, unless we got something new that you can get. So people who've been fans of Ace Blade, last time it was the shoes, this time it's the action figures, and then next time we got something cooking for next time too.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, man. Obviously for those who are watching it on YouTube or whatever other video service, you can see we have the figures there, and it's just a sick figure because I like that he's on the Ace of Spades card.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a real nice touch. Who helped you put that together?
Yeah, so I actually went through the whole process of buying a 3D printer and all that stuff, but I couldn't figure it out. I could not, my old man brain couldn't figure out how to, sculpt and design it myself. So what I did was I went on Fiverr. I went on Fiverr and I found somebody, who had pretty good scores. I think it ended up costing me like $100 to get the 3D file.
Hmm.
And then there's JC Grande, not JC, but Viet Nguyen. He used to do the custom Ace Blade pop dolls that we did, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I can 3D print that for you." So he 3D printed it, he painted it, and then he sent it right over to me. So we decided to go with 10 because they do take some time. So he said, "Yeah, you put 10 of them up on the Kickstarter, and we'll do it." So that's what we decided to do.
Awesome. So, if it's all right with the three of you, I just want to run through the different levels of, participation and backing. So, if you were to put in $1, um, you get a thank you. Does that sound about right, Danny?
That's about right. Like I
Okay.
do like I do social media shout outs. Some people like that stuff. Like even on TikTok, if we go live,
Hmm.
people will donate $1 or so to to get a shout out and stuff like that. So we
Right.
decided, put it on TikTok. I mean, put it on Kickstarter so we can that $1, every dollar helps, and you never know, that might be the $1 that puts us over the goal.
Nice, nice. So listen up, Nerd World Order, because something's going to appeal to you. You're going to be like, oh, okay, okay, I'm in for $10. So let's see what we got here.
Yeah.
The digital download at $7. That's of issue 7, correct?
Yes, that's issue 7. So, what we did to try to sweeten the deal, I want to say on that one, we got some special features and stuff that we're going to throw in, for folks. That is, it's a, we try to. There's a philosophy, not a philosophy, but you know how in in uh in movie theaters they make the small, medium, and large, and they make the medium about the same price as the large, so that they
Hmm.
hope you buy the large. That's kind of what that is, because the next one is $10, and you can just get the physical comic and the digital one also. So you throw in that extra $3 and you can get both.
That's
So
pretty good. And $10 is a good price for an indie comic because it is so challenging to, print. You're not printing like, 500,000 copies or
yeah,
whatever, like Marvel and DC. So that's a really good price, man.
yeah, and all the prices on everything went up in the last 2 years too. So like, printing is more expensive, paper is more expensive, shipping is more expensive, all the things that, but even, I mean, of course the art itself is more expensive too, but to be able to make an indie comic, and we're hoping to sell 500, 1,000 copies of this thing, and but then at 10 o'clock, at $10 we'll be able to make our money back and keep making comics, and that's really the goal.
Nice, nice. Did what's the digital catch up? Help me out with that one.
Yeah, so with a digital catch up, you get all of the Ace Blade issues. You get all the digital issues of Ace Blade, and you get those special features that we talked about too, and some the cover art for all 3 books. So you get
Oh,
you get all 7 Ace Blade 1 through 7. You get those special features we talked about, and some cover art. So yeah, that's a popular one too. A lot of people are reading digital comics these days, and they prefer to just read it right on your tablet or your phone. So
yeah. Unfortunately, my eyes cannot. It's like I have a tablet, but it's old and it freezes.
hmm
Um, and my phone is just a little bit too small. So, but 25, that's a good price, man. Definitely. What do we get for 50?
so there's a couple of $50. Like, the analytics say that $50 is like the highest, is the threshold, right? So
Okay.
people are going to come in at $50. So we did a couple of tiers at $50. This one is the physical catch up bundle, so you get all 7 of the Ace Blade comics at 50 for this one.
Nice.
In this one, you can get all 3 of the variant covers. We got a variant cover by Jay Mercadale. We got Jay Hero, and we got Sean Hill, who sent us the art for his variant cover. So that's all 3 variant covers for that one. And then also you can
Nice.
get the snapback. I wish I see, I should have, if I was prepared, I would have had one. But we got a purple version, and we got the gray version of the Ace
Nice.
Blade logo hat. It's kind of got that Naruto, crossed out thing going on, and
Yeah.
of course you get the variant cover with it.
Nice. By the way, gentlemen, this is for Alfonso and Joe. Danny got hats, bro. I know Joe doesn't like flat billed hats because they
Yeah.
fog up his glasses, but
Oh yeah.
come on, he got Danny has shoes and hats. I'm impressed, bro. I'm
Hey.
just so impressed, man.
That hat does look sick, but I got
Yeah.
this gargantuan cranium, and snapbacks
Hey.
don't look right.
Hey, no, I know how it is. But it's, if you like it though, I like to have some hats that I just sit on the shelf too. So I know how it goes. I know how it goes for sure.
Nice. So the t-shirts. Tell us about the $50 level with the t-shirts.
Oh yeah, so I don't know if you saw the announcement, but we just did um a, a, a partnership with Bequest Studios. So basically, all the comics that I write, um, that are not connected to Ace Blade, that are not connected to superheroes, like the Western that I just did during the summer, Ballad of the Black Rose, is going to be published through Bequest Studios. So we are doing an Ace Blade and request, exclusive T-shirt here. We gotta start pushing that. We just decided, last week to do that one, and we was like, yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. So we're gonna start pushing the word out about that one soon.
Very nice, man. Very nice indeed. We talked about the figure we can't get anymore. So, you guys need to write into Danny. Say you need to open up a few more of those action figure spots.
I'm gonna ask V. Because he said, he limited me to 10. But I'm gonna say, hey man, they sold out. Let me get 10 more. Let me get 5 more. Let me see what we can do. Because I feel like they would sell. We see those 10 are already gone. So I feel like we could sell five more maybe. And
maybe change it up a bit so those first 10 are like exclusive ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just a little change.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Put some blood on the sword.
There we go. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna have to take that, Alfonso. I'm taking that. We're gonna have to get the one with the blood on the sword and some blood dripping on the card or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that'll be dope. Yeah,
that's pretty sick, Alfonso.
That's a good idea right there. I like it.
Yeah. Sketch cover. Are you doing the sketch?
I am.
Nice.
I'm offering 10 of those. I started doing sketch covers on TikTok earlier this year, and it's been going pretty good. Like I've sold five or six of them on there. Just me streaming, doing the art on them and stuff like that. And that was the last one that I sent out. So I decided to offer them on the TikTok, only on Kickstarter too.
Nice. Sort of a side note for me, man. I love your social media presence that you include your family. That's just impressive, man.
They don't like it all the time, but what they gonna do? I'm dad. You can't tell me no.
Yeah, it's funny because my son always tells me, "No, I'm shy. I don't want to be on camera." I'm like, just take the picture.
Yeah, I'm shy too. Like that's why I try to tell my kids all the time. Like, me and Morgan talk about it all the time. If we didn't have to use social media to get the word out about these comics, I wouldn't be on it as much, of course.
Right.
Because social media can be draining. It's really a second job, but at the same time, I have fun with it. I try to include the family. My youngest daughter, she likes to do little dances and stuff. So she's like, hey, let's do this as a TikTok. And I'm like, sure, let's do it. I'll get up and dance. Otherwise, I'm not dancing on TikTok. I'm not doing that stuff. But if the baby girl wants to, she sees something that she will have fun doing, I'll do it with her. And then I want to show off, the kids do art, and my wife has a hair salon and stuff. So, why not put that stuff out there?
Absolutely, man. So let's take a look. What's the Fourth Wall Universe bundle? What do you got with that?
So those are the other that's of course all 7 Aceblade comics. But then you get the rest of the other 4, the other 7 comic books in our universe also. So that'll be Lumberjacks 1 through 3. You'll get both King Supreme comic books and Harlem. So that's the ultimate bundle right there.
Pretty nice. Let's see here. So you got your graded books?
Yeah, we got some graded books. So we for that one we're going to offer both Aceblade #1 graded, so they'll basically get an option. If you want to get a graded one, it'll either be CGC or CVCS. And we send the books in. We'll go to a comic book convention, sign them, and send them in to be graded. And you can either get Aceblade #1 or Aceblade #7, depending on which one you want.
Right. So is everyone involved in 1 and 7 going to sign that?
Just me for the for this tier. I couldn't get I can't. That's one of those things that you have to schedule people being in the same place at the same time. Right. And it's crazy. The logistics of that would be crazy. But hopefully, with Aceblade #8, we will be able to do that because myself, Jamal, are here in the same place. So myself, William, and Jamal, who are all in North Carolina, I will be able to offer that for Aceblade #8, getting all 3 of us to sign it and get them graded.
Nice, very nice. So all the gear, including those shoes I keep talking about, everything. So tell me a little bit about the 250 tier.
Yeah, that's all the gear, man. Like I said, you get the shoes, the cream ones, as I like to call them, the Aceblade cream ones. You get that hat, you get both T-shirts. The T-shirt that Michael Watson did on Chat and Draw the other night, we wanted to find a way to include that, so you get both of those T-shirts, and of course you get the comic books.
Very nice, man. Very nice indeed. And it looks like the final level here is a big eyeball.
Yes, that's all of everything. So that's everything. I don't know if y'all seen, what was it? Everywhere, everything, everywhere, all at once. The donut, the donut in the end. I was like, hey, this is the bundle where you get everything. You pay $500, you get all the comics, you get all the behind the scenes, you get all the merch, and then we're just gonna throw everything in the box and send it to you. So in the past we've been fortunate enough to have, people want some everything that we had, and we wanted to have a bundle available for that too.
That's pretty cool, man. I mean, obviously for a person who's a super fan, does that include in the bundle the CGC graded comic book?
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
See, that's a good deal. So that's an excellent, man. I like that 100%. So I feel like Aceblade's really exciting, and the thing that I like about it is, to your point, it's not your average, superhero. Got my powers through, radiation or something like that. Where do you see Aceblade going? Do you have the end of the story in mind, and do you have any ideas to move it over, maybe into live action, anything like that?
Um, yes, the answer is yes to all of that. So we I already know where Aceblade's story ends. Now, how many issues we do that in is absolutely up to however, how long we can make these comic books. But we got a crazy ending in mind for Aceblade and some of the other characters. I'll just say that. And but yeah, we my wife actually made an Aceblade costume this past couple weeks ago, and we got somebody to come in and try it on. I'm gonna start posting those pictures soon, but we're gearing up to do some live action stuff. So it might not be super fancy. X-Play doesn't have any superpowers, so it might not be too CGC. I mean, it's too CGI heavy. But we just want to be able to tell a pretty cool story, and and do it in different mediums to kind of show what it could be. So we got some ideas, and we're gearing up to do that early next year.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Looking at the Aceblade, just trying to look. You said you're 75% funding right now, correct?
Just about, yeah. I think we're
Okay.
just about 74, 75% right now. So
Okay.
trying to get
Awesome.
to the 100% here
Right.
hopefully before the end of the week. But we got a comic book convention this weekend that we're really gonna be pushing that also. So hopefully we can cross the line before the end of the week.
Okay. And do you find going to conventions, things of that nature, helps you out as far as getting more people interested in the Kickstarter?
It's up and down, really. I think it gives me a reason to talk to people, and it gives me an opportunity to talk to people about the Kickstarter. So, of course, the more people that hear about it, the more likely there'll be people who pledge to it. But um, I think the analytics I've seen is like, if you talk to 1,000 people, only 80 only 80 are gonna actually do the thing. You might get
Right.
7 to 8%, who hear about it to do it. So I feel like the more people that see it, the more people that interact with Ace Blade, and the more people I tell is on Kickstarter, the better. So if I can get 1,000 people over the weekend and tell them, then maybe I will get, maybe I'll get 80 more people to jump in. But you know, I'll be happy to just sit there and talk about comics for the whole weekend either way.
Yeah. Oh, do you find comic book conventions to be a little exhausting, or do you find them to be sort of energizing?
Yeah, exhausting. I mean, it's not that they're exhausting. It's that it's work. It's really work. When you're there trying to sell, comics to people and tell them about your story. And it's like doing a whole podcast interview in 2 minutes. The 2 minutes that I have to talk to somebody that's walking by, I either got to decide to give them the backstory, I got to pitch them the comics, or I got to try to sell it to them, or tell them about the Kickstarter, make that decision, and then captivate them right then and there. And then yeah, it can be very exhausting, but I think it's just because it's actually work to do. It's work do it if you're not naturally good at it. I'm not a salesman by any means. So so I kind of have to get outside of my comfort zone. I love talking about comics, but I would honestly rather talk about Spider-Man that I know people are already, I know people are connected through watching 30 years of Spider-Man than having to introduce them to something else. It's easier to have a conversation about the X-Men or Dragon Ball Z, because we already share those connections. But I'm happy to do it though.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I've sold T-shirts, and Joe's been right there with me selling T-shirts at
Hmm.
comic book conventions before, and I was wondering if it was just sort of something Joe and I experienced, or if it was overall. It's you're passionate about your trade,
Hmm.
but trying to convince people that they should be passionate about
Right.
about your trade, it can be very challenging, especially when you have the same conversation like a
Yeah.
hundred times,
Yeah.
in like 2 hours,
Yeah.
and of that 100 times, one person's like, "Let me get that sticker," you
Yeah.
know.
Right. It's like, oh yeah, let me get that pin that you got right there. That's what I want.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, but the thing is, man, and the thing I respect is you continue to pump out product, and when you're talking to us right now, you're just passionate about it, and I really appreciate and respect that.
Oh yeah, all the time. I don't, and it's not that like it's never tiring to talk about Ace Play, but like you said, if you when you get to that 80th, 90th person, and you're not getting the feedback that you want, like it can be a daunting task. But
Hmm.
um, and of course it's easier to sell. Like if I have Batman and Superman on my table, it's gonna be easier to sell. But um, starting with these independent characters, it's tough. But now that we have not just Ace Blade, but we got King Supreme, who's like this, galaxy spanning superhero who flies and blows up stars and all this stuff. And then we got Lumberjacks, who is kind of a Punisher type who has these superpowers, but when you mess with him, he's gonna mess you up. And then we got Harlem, who we just came out with, who is who has a story about being resurrected, and she has superpowers now and doesn't, like it's more of a mystery of how this thing happened to her. It's easier because we have something. I feel like we got something that everybody could like.
Right.
And then we got more stuff coming, for manga readers, people who love manga. We got stuff that you might enjoy. We got, like you said, action figures and shoes now, and t-shirts. So usually if somebody comes to our booth now and we have everything, they'll see something they like.
Awesome. So one question that did come to mind is, some people when they write a comic book or they make characters, they're thinking like, "Hey, this is just going to be I don't care who reads it." Other people, they want to make sure that it's family friendly, it's accessible for all levels of the family. So
Yeah.
two questions. Number 1, when you created Ace Blade, were you thinking that you wanted to create a book that the entire family could read? And number 2, is Ace Blade intended to be a role model?
Mm, that's tough. Um, I'd say yes to the first one. Ace Blade specifically is the one that has the most general appeal. I'd say, young kids can read Ace Blade. Adults can find, they can relate to the themes of greed in it, and then young adults, like there's enough drama and action in there for them to be interested in as well. So, I'd say Ace Blade kind of has the most appeal, but as far as a role model, I would say he would like to. I'd say Ace Blade would like to be a role model, but he knows that he's a flawed person. He knows that his obsession with being the best. Terrell Durham just wants to prove that he's the best fighter in the world. He will take on any fight because he wants to prove that he can overcome it. And that's not always a winning attitude.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't instill that, and even in the comics, this character doesn't instill those traits in his students. He says, "Listen, I'm giving you these skills to be able to protect yourself because it's tough in the world. I want you to be able to go out and succeed and not back down from any fight, but don't do what I did. Don't take it to the extremes." And he's not telling the kids that he's putting on a costume and fighting every night, but he's cautioning them against where it can lead them. So yes and no to the second one.
Okay, okay. That would be an Alfonso answer. That's why he unmuted his mic. That's how he answers everything. Go ahead, Alfonso.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. No, you know, when you're creating all these characters, I mean, you know, sometimes they kind of lend themselves to people you know. It was Aceblade, his personality, is it based on anybody you know, yourself, or?
I say a little bit of this, a little bit of that. No, say it's you know, my dad and my mom are, you know, were the huge driving forces. My father was in prison for the first 8 years of my life, and when he came back, he wasn't the same person that my mom, you know, fell in love with, I guess. But them two being able to be patient and kind to each other, you know, taught me that, you know, there's more important things than, you know, that the society around you can't really determine what you do. You know, if everybody is telling you, hey, do this one thing, but you believe in doing the thing that you believe is right, you know, that kind of is the better way to go about it from what I've seen. So, you know, just that part of their story, you know, gave that to me. But then, you know, meeting my wife, the same thing. You know, she's a she's never been the one to want to work for another person. She doesn't want to, you know, she's had a few jobs, but she's like, listen, I don't like having a boss. I wanna do my own thing. I want to make my own path. And you know, Ace Blade is definitely that. He's a listen, I believe in a thing, and listen, until somebody proves me wrong, this is what I believe, and that's what I'm going for. So a little bit of everybody around me there for sure.
That's special, man. I really appreciate you sharing that. That was cool.
Yeah, very cool. So, Danny, as we round the corner on this episode of the Nerd World Order broadcast, I know that you are touching like every form of social media. So, where can people see you, see Aceblade, see your other books?
Absolutely. The best place to find us, of course, is our website, fourthwallpros.com. But if you want to check out some of the crazy stuff I do on social media, just follow at the Ace Blade on all the social media platforms. That's TikTok. There it is. You see, there we go. That's TikTok. That's Facebook, Instagram, all of them. So absolutely.
Very cool, man. Well, thank you very much for being with us today, Danny. And everything you do is definitely, in my opinion, it's what indie writers and indie creators should be doing, man. I mean, you're not confining yourself to one thing, and I really like that, man. This concludes this episode of the Nerd World Order broadcast. So until next time, ladies, gentlemen, and knights of the Nerd World Order, I am NWO.
We are NWO.
Nerds redefined.
Booyah.